You ready? Okay. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everyone. I would like to start our meeting off this morning with just a moment of silence to remember the service of our colleague, Mark Holy, who passed away last week. Okay. First on our agenda is to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll move.
Second.
Paul, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed? Carried. On to the consent items.
So moved.
Gary,
second.
seconded by Warren. Any discussion on anything? All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed? Carried. Okay, on to our issue form. Do you want to talk about the first item on there?
Yeah. First item on there is a request from Polk County. They're making this request to all counties to support participating in the Minnesota Nuclear Energy Alliance, which would lift the restrictions on the construction of new nuclear power plants in Minnesota. Financial obligation of the county, it's more of a policy position, and that certainly would fall under the oversight of the county board. If you're interested in this, there's a draft resolution. I did not put it into county resolution form, but you can either just adopt something improving it, and I can modify the language based on your motion. I can bring it back to the next meeting in a updated form, or you can say nope, we're not interested.
Okay, so we did have a little discussion on this at our district meeting, and it was noted that in AMC policy that it does, agree with or support nuclear energy. So, if we want to do a resolution that strengthens that, or or not do anything, just let the AMC position stand for us. Any thoughts?
Well, I think we need to start proceeding with nuclear power. It's
So what
the whole
about
power situation is such that we're going to have some real shortages there unless something's done, and this is probably the most logical way in my thinking.
Paul?
I know very little about it, so I would have to go with what the recommendation is with y'all. I mean, you guys know more about it than I do.
Gary?
I wouldn't mind waiting till the next meeting. It's real new to me. Give
Me
me a
too.
chance to what the resolution that
Mhm.
we would endorse would look like. That would be my choice. I know nothing may be against it, but
Mhm.
maybe need a little more time to make a decision for me anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
so just kind of draft up a resolution and then we can,
base it on this, but,
mhm,
I mean, and in general, I think at least investigating it, and I think that's their approach, right? To not X it out. We don't want to oppose it.
mhm, mhm.
I just don't know that.
but I'm not sure how critical a county resolution on this issue is in the first place, but I think it speaks to a county that has nuclear power
Sure.
located in its area. Clearly, there are things that are driving the need for more energy, and for those of us who are a little older can remember some nuclear power issues that came up where everybody said, "No, we're not doing this anymore." But that a couple generations off,
Mhm.
so some issues changed. Hard to imagine ever seeing a nuclear facility in Polk County, but what needs the grid is what's the sources is,
Mhm.
I guess it's a policy position for the board.
Yeah,
I did think about whether this falls under our policy of not dealing with issues that are not germane to county government.
mhm,
But this does seem to have a platform statewide with counties. So,
They're just asking for our support
yeah,
of them.
yeah, and I
But-
think, that, like I said, I mean, AMC's policy is to support nuclear energy, but I think, just having resolutions from the individual counties will, strengthen their, legislative efforts, that they can go to the legislators and say, we've, got the individual support of these counties besides AMC, so. But yeah, so why don't you, draft up something and we'll look at it at our next meeting. Okay, next is to appoint a Laurel appointment. So Gary, you wanna let us know what that's about?
Yes, I have served 3 terms, and that's the maximum that you could serve on Laurel. You can come back afterwards, but you have to take at least a year off. So hopefully someone on the group here is willing to kind of move on that. Library is very, very important, and keeping them affordable, and it's an important group to be on.
Are you the current chair?
No.
You have
I'm on the
been-
executive board. Yeah, I've
Been chair.
been chair for a couple of years, and good organization.
Mhm.
They're going to be moving next year now into the Moorhead Library, and I think we've got a tour of that coming up here either in our November or December meetings. Will be interesting to see, but that's been a long process to get to. And
Mhm.
Do they do these meetings remotely?
yes,
How often
Yeah.
do they meet?
normally I would say 6 to 8 times a year, unless you're on the finance or executive board, then that would be a monthly.
Well, I don't want a board position, but I'll fill your spot. I don't have a problem with that. If we can meet remotely, I'll do it. I think
You can zoom on.
I'm your
True.
second
Yeah.
up, so I don't have a problem with that. And it's important, and it does affect my district, so I think it's
Very much so.
Yeah.
For Old Boston area particularly.
so I don't have a problem doing that as long as I can attend remotely.
I'd move Mr. Reese for that position then.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Okay, so I have Gary and Warren nominating Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried. Okay, now we need to appoint board of directors for Marshall Polk watershed or water system. Can we do these together or do they need to be separately?
I do them separately.
Okay.
One is to reappoint Dan Driscoll, and the other is to, based on the recommendation from Marshall Polk, to appoint John Nelson to replace Wayne Nelson, finish out his term.
Oh, sure.
Retiring from the board.
Mhm.
Sometimes is the case.
a little side note here, I would think is with our current problems with Marshall Polk, and they're delaying every kind of action they can possibly take, they're delaying it. Maybe we should delay this.
Well, Mr. Nelson retired effective October 31st, so their next meeting is November 18th. The issues that the two of you are aware of, sitting in the West Central Regional Water District, are supposed to be dealt with at that meeting. I don't want to get into the middle of that. This seems unrelated, but perhaps you need these folks to work on your interest behalf too. So
Mm,
I don't know, I'd just be in favor of delaying action on it for 2 weeks.
But then we're short, a representative on the board or,
Well,
No, I think I don't want to be retaliative based on, because I think that part has come from higher up than these folks.
well, and they could stop it.
But they could stop it, I agree. So,
I will say that from what I've seen, when we've had discussions, it's been with the Polk County appointees to Marshall Polk. So not have one of those seats filled
is
at the next meeting.
detriment, could be detriment.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yes, and I agree with that.
mhm.
I'll move that Dan Driscoll
Okay.
for his next 4 years. Is there a limit on how many terms they can serve?
No.
Okay.
Lifetime,
Okay.
Okay, so,
Reappoint or
yeah.
not reappoint.
mhm.
That's your-
Well, I know the Driscoll family, I would second that motion.
Okay, so I have Paul and Warren nominating Dan Driscoll. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried. And then now we've got a recommendation for John Nelson to complete Wayne Nelson's term.
Didn't he come here? Both of them? Didn't they talk about that one time when they were here?
I don't think Wayne Nelson was ever here.
I have to admit, I don't remember. I can recognize him, I can't remember who's who.
But I think he sat in for him. John W. sat in for his father for some reason.
Oh,
I thought here.
I don't remember that, but
I think who's the other appointee that this board approved?
it's from Fisher, what's his name?
Stordahl or
No,
No,
it's a ski name, isn't it?
not Kowalski, it's not Kowalski.
I can see his face.
Yeah, I can see him face too.
Jason Stordahl?
Mm,
No, it's not Thordo.
Um,
Wow.
'cause what did we put him? We just put Jason on. Which
It would
board
really
was
be
that?
nice to visit with these folk or with John, but I mean, I know we're going to be short. I don't think that's wise that we have a short member
Mhm,
on the board.
That's not unusual to have them come in.
mhm.
Usually you would go out and find somebody, but considering one of these vacancies is now, the other one, when that term ends and the appointment, which I would assume is in January,
Right.
you can always call them up and talk to them, because typically, I should shouldn't say typically, but a not uncommon manner is to go out and find somebody that you want to appoint to their board. They're bringing names to you, which is convenient.
Very.
except You haven't met them, but nothing says you can't call them up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to wait 2 weeks, the other thing would be, it'd be a little difficult to have them come in and meet the board
When they have a meeting that,
meeting that day.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Nelson would be the one, I think, that maybe I'm not familiar with.
Mhm.
Driscoll, I think.
Mhm.
So you can, I don't know how you want to manage it, but
Well, I just don't want to be retaliative because of their behavior. I want to make sure that we have representation.
Jason Stordahl. Jason Stordahl.
Stordahl. There's another one though from Fisher,
Mike Kasowski.
Kasowski.
Yeah.
Probably he replaced his father.
Is he, but is he on this,
These are the ones that were at the meeting. Paul Bergeron, president, Mike Kasowski, director, and Jason Stordahl, director.
okay. Okay, so what,
I just feel, I guess I do feel, I'm sorry, Warren, but I hear where you're coming from and I can't disagree totally, but I still don't want that seat vacant.
Well, I don't think we're being, what was that word you used?
retaliatory?
Retaliatory?
I don't think we're just slowing down the process.
Well, on the face of it, if all their concerns were legitimate concerns, trying to make sure that things are right. I don't know how many more conversations this group has to have with them. I think it's really, where does it sit between West Central and Polk?
Mhm.
You notice I don't have the MOU on this agenda because they didn't act on it on the last meeting, and it was conditional. So that'll be on the agenda for the 18th. I don't know what happened at your West Central Regional meeting last Monday because I was off.
Absolutely nothing.
Not much. It was a
No,
fast, efficient.
So I know that the question that they had looked relatively minor. But I think, however, the attorney from West Central would react to that.
Mhm.
And the other thing they did say there is, we're gonna submit to the court anyway, the way it is, without their approval, just that we've been going through the steps and we're gonna approve it anyway.
Mhm,
So-
mhm. Yeah. And I mean, one thing too with John Nelson, I mean, it'd be, just a little over a year remainder for that term. So, if we're comfortable appointing him now and then, when it comes to reappointment then of bringing him in.
So he's finishing a 1 year
Mm-hmm,
remaining.
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I didn't get this to you earlier, but I think I got it the day of the last. Finish this meeting, go to the office, it's in my mail. So
I think that's legitimate, Joan, because
Mhm.
we can always reevaluate it. But it
Mhm.
doesn't help us in the present state. But we're gonna submit it to the judge anyway, with or without him.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but the judge really wants it, so.
Yeah, well, we
Yeah.
did all of our
You've done your due
diligence.
diligence.
That's what I was gonna say.
Mhm. Okay, so do we want to have a motion to appoint John Nelson for the remainder of Wayne Nelson's term?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, Paul,
Second.
seconded by Gary. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, on to issue form. Gary, you want to start?
Sure. The township meeting last Tuesday. I guess I was okay with the attendance. Obviously, it's never as crowded as the spring, but it's a busy time. A lot of questions to the sheriff. I thought he did a nice job. A lot of questions. A lot of questions on marijuana, and not a whole lot of concrete answers to pass on. It seems to be an experiment. And then on Friday, Public Health, a group of Polk, Norman, and Monoman gathered a group together, individuals from all different fields, corrections, social services, secondary education, and also Karen from the food bank. You're going to always remember her, and obviously she's concerned about what types of issues we may have
Thank you.
with the changes in SNAP, but it looks like some of that is going to be dealt with. But a lot of issues, a lot of discussion on access to care, health, also dental and healthcare, um, economic stability, and substance use and misuse, which seems to be a real big issue in the Monoman area. It's becoming more of the norm than not. So, a lot of tough questions, but, it begins with getting people together that deal with those types of issues. And I think they'll have a report within the month, and we'll make sure all the commissioners get a copy of that. No easy answers.
It's funny that Monoman has the big issue, but they're the big ones in cannabis now.
In fact, the commissioner for Monoman said that, what was going to be $1 million is $1 million a month. So it's not only frightening that many, they're selling that much, that there's that many people out there purchasing and using.
And using,
It's
yeah.
even scarier. And he really is strongly concerned about that issue.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Warren?
I think Gary just covered mine.
Okay.
I had supposed to have had a task force meeting, but
Right,
that
that
got
was-
canceled
yep.
because of lack of
Agenda items.
agenda items. And had a personnel committee meeting yesterday dealing with budget. Nothing really new to report there. And well, that's enough. Really, what Gary reported was
Paul, you have anything more?
West Central, the board meeting on the 27th. It was short and sweet, but everything is getting right down there, and things are moving where they have to get to the judge. And I think that's what's driving the force of the length of the meetings. People are all on the same wavelength now. They know what's happening. They know what's to come. So that I like to see that we're not having 2-hour meetings. Township meeting, very interesting. There was more this time than last year at this time,
Yes.
I thought. I really do want to make a comment. I thought that poor gal that was elected was not treated very properly. And I just think publicly, I want them to know that wasn't. I went and talked to her afterwards, and I don't know what the big deal is. With the one man was released or let go from the position, and this gal, from my understanding, voluntarily decided to run. I don't think there was a backstory there. I don't think she was coming in the back door or anything. So I just thought that was kind of unfair. And then the EMC meeting, that was my second one I went to, because the first one was in East, but this one was better yet. It was good. There's a lot of information there. I think, we're just in a unique time with the SNAP deal. And especially since Sheriff Tadman is here, I really feel strongly, and maybe it's because my wife runs the food shelf in Fertile, and with the lack of SNAP, and then what happens if there's an influx of people that stormed a place, for example. All it needs is she's had fights and stuff there before. And I just told her, I said, you just got to make sure that those folks are informed, you know. And so I think she talked to the deputy sheriff, or to Mike Norland, about that. So I think that'll be okay. It's safety for the people and for the workers in all of these food shelves. We got one in Foston, and
Erskine?
there's one in Erskine, and is there one in town here?
Oh, yeah.
No. Is it still, do they still have a food shelf here?
I don't believe so, not official. I think there is something at
Okay.
the,
Okay. But I just think it's important that we at least keep those people safe and sound.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
East Grand Forks, of course,
Yeah.
has but they're more of a
That's the bank.
The
distribution.
district, that's the bank, the
The bank.
distribution
the
But
first
system.
people are coming there and they're trying to help,
Mhm.
getting a little box to give to people.
Mm-hmm.
Working on doing more mobile stops,
Mhm.
which they say has been very successful.
Yeah, and I think there's one in Fisher, and
I mean, we got quite a few in our
I
county.
think there's like 6 different locations that I had seen,
Awesome.
something like that, so,
Okay.
but, okay, I'll run through my stuff quick. Had a meeting for that, the AMC Long-Term Services and Supports Committee that I was appointed to, just kind of, so we're tasked with, finding over $177 million to cut. So we kind of went back through history and how we got to where we are currently with our funding and services and how everything works. And there was discussion of counties are getting to the point with all these, you know, current cost shifts or possible cost shifts of just providing the services that are mandated, and not doing anything that isn't. And then there was one county that they're cutting a large part of their staff. It's it's just a challenge, and it's going to be a big heavy lift on this committee. I had planning and zoning that'll be coming up later. Then our AMC Finance Committee met and we went over our audit for AMC, and everything looked really good. And then the next day I had Productive Alternatives meeting, the DAC, and we went over their audit. So within a week I went through 3 audits. Luckily I like numbers. Then we had the Township Association meeting, and I had Clearwater, One Watershed, One Plan, and we just kind of had an update of projects that have been completed, looking at projects that are, possibilities for 26, and looking at where we are as far as the grants and the dates that they have to be used by, and whether or not we'll get the money used by then. And so there's a good plan in place to make sure that all works. And then we had the district meeting. I think we always have a lot of good discussion at those meetings, and and I think we have a really good group of counties and people that are always there. And then I had actually 2 different meetings for MAFBA. One was an in-person in the cities, and part of it was just spent getting to know everybody that's on the committee, because otherwise it's just been virtually. We've seen people's faces, and so it was just really good to actually get to see people and talk to them in person. And part of it was we did a color code questionnaire, and then it would according to and those answers were when you were a child, how you handled things or how things were done. And so I thought, that was interesting of trying to think back of, to my childhood. But then it was, I think, 4 different colors that we split up into. And I ended up being a blue. And so we're very detail oriented and, on task and caring and empathetic and also I think we were the loudest group that was at the meeting. So and then we had another one yesterday that um, we met with a group that um, they kind of like it's for we discussed about like the unfortunate incidents that have happened like in some foster homes and and just in different um, localities with that are within the social service program department there and of when something bad happens how does the organization handle that because most of the time it's a blame on like the social worker and then they're released or they resign and it's kind of like well maybe that person wasn't the sole reason why something happened and just kind of you know looking at everything to find out what did go wrong and then to try and use that going forward to um, to make things better. So it was um, I mean part of the time I was confused with where they were going, but I mean I know it was beneficial for um, like the social service directors and stuff that are on that committee. So but so that is all that I had. Mr. Tadman.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
A couple items for the agenda today. The first one is we had a resignation in our dispatch center. One of our telecommunicators will be done at the end of the month.
A good one? An experienced one? Or
They're all good. They're all experienced once they get training, but yes, a very
okay,
good one.
well, somebody was
It's like, we haven't hired him yet. We want to get a good one. Yeah. But no, he's him and his family are going to be moving out to Wyoming.
oh,
So
okay.
So looking for a motion to approve filling the open telecommunicator position.
So move.
Second.
Okay, Paul and Gary, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And then the second agenda item is a resolution that I sent to Board Chair Joan and
Mhm.
Chuck, and this is purpose of the Master Joints Agreement. Court service amendments to allow the Sheriff's Office and County Attorney's Office to continue access with our BCA data systems and tools for criminal justice purposes and the communications network. And this is a 5-year contract and it's coming up for renewal. So I'm looking for a motion and approval to enter into that agreement.
So move.
Okay, Paul
Second,
and Warren. Now that covers both the joint powers agreement and the court data services.
That'd be correct.
Okay.
And that's for the county attorney's office. They're all staff and then all of our staff. Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So both of you are good with the motion, including both of them?
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Okay, that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you very much for your
Yes.
service.
Yep, thank you.
You had a lot of questions at the,
That went, yeah,
that's
It went
good,
well.
though.
It went,
And
but I was just
obviously
like-
they,
I went, no. Jacob should have been there. I think that would have been a good one for him to
Yeah,
be there because there was a lot of interest in that and
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, and that's I had that conversation with Jean earlier, but yeah.
yeah, well, you covered some too, so I appreciated that. So, no, it went really well, till the end. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, I think, it's just, um, they're just very frustrated with how things have been handled and not getting any communication from the
That's
state.
what I took on it, but I just
Mhm.
felt bad for the one that was just kind of introducing herself. So,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
as Commissioner Reese advised, I think I'm at the end. I'm trying to get to the end here, Chuck. There we go. Okay. Thank you so much and
Yep.
have a nice day.
Yep, you too. Oh, okay, Levi.
Hey, good morning.
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 Oh, just one item here this morning. What I had is we had an internal employee get promoted to the systems analyst 2 position, leaving that service desk technician position open. Just requesting approval to fill the open service desk tech position. I got a motion here this morning to approve filling the open service desk position.
I'll move it.
Okay, Warren,
Second.
seconded by Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried.
All right, thank you.
of course, the ESB port on the computer, that's just a plug-in thing on the back of it, isn't it?
What part?
ESB?
Are you? Yeah.
USB?
Yep. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
I get a note on my laptop or on my keyboard saying I need to charge. And I have it plugged in already, but it's apparently that connection wasn't very good or something.
Okay, yep, nope, it should be the one on the, I think the left side on that model.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
You should have been in here earlier this morning with the issues he was having.
No,
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too.
I was born 2 generations too soon to understand.
First, my condolences on the passing of your colleague and friend, and man, he will be missed.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, my stuff. You saw my out-of-state travel as part of our budget stuff. We had a good discussion about that at that time. Be nice to get it approved today so that I can start registering for the conferences that are open and find flights that are reasonable before they start going up the closer you get to travel dates. So
Most of these are paid by the organization, are they not?
they're either county or county and NACE split.
Mhm.
So you can see that NACO Ledge is split. My NACE annual conference is the county. Western Interstate, since it's just a NACO board meeting, is county. NACO annual split. NACE fall board meeting is split, and NACO fall board meeting is county. So it's a good mix of both.
Okay, but they're all budgeted.
Yes.
I would move to approve.
Second.
Okay, Warren and Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Enjoy your travel.
Thank you. Every year we have to pass a resolution designating us as the owner and sponsor of the trail between Crookston and Fertile and the county line, and then Beltrami and the county line, which is our Agassiz recreational trail. We get off-road vehicle or ATV funds through the DNR, and so this allows us to approve a contract in the near future and then submit bills and get reimbursed at either 65% or 90%, depending on which costs we are doing on that trail. So I need approval for the passing of resolution 2025-61.
I will move.
Okay, Paul.
Second, and ask, where does this reimbursement come from?
The DNR.
Mhm.
So we submit all our bills, we get a check. So
Okay,
Is there a cap as far as how much we can receive in a year as reimbursement?
I haven't, well, it's usually, they give us a grant amount
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the cap
Okay.
is. So we estimate what our costs are gonna be for the year, when I submit the grant application.
Mm-hmm.
And then they set the grant at X and then we can get up to that.
Okay.
If we do something, over and above, then I just have to request extra funding on that grant. And sometimes it gets approved, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it does. So
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried.
next, we have the multi-use trail that we're working on between County Road 231, which is the Pavilion and Mentor. In order to get that trail constructed, we're going to have to cross BNSF property, the main line just south of Mentor. And so this is the first step in that process. We get an easement from BNSF to put our trail there, and we get to pay them $10,000 for that easement. So it's just a process. It's always fun working with the railroad. And if I told you that 10,000 includes the consultant's fee to get this all going, but even $8,000 for the little bit of easement that we're getting is over and above what anybody else would get paid if we were getting an easement from them, but that's the way it is. So they got expensive property, apparently.
this is a one-time expense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They play the game of Monopoly well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so looking for a motion to approve the easement.
Yes.
And allow the chair to sign the easement. So
Okay, so I have a motion by Paul,
second,
seconded by Gary. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So by the pink thing, it says buy.
Yep.
Just put your name, I'll fill in everything else.
Okay.
And then email or mail it back to them, because it has to be ink on paper, all this fun stuff. Let's see, what else do we got? We got a contract final.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's the little bit of easement we're getting. The easement here is for the trail. This is for the rest of the road. So anyway, just so you know what we're actually getting an easement on. So certificate of performance final acceptance for CP 125-11-1444, CP 125-16-1445, and CP 125-21-1446, which is our route and seal contract on CASA 11, CASA 16, and CASA 21. Aztec, or Asphalt Surface Tech Corp, has completed all the work required on the contract. Original contract amount was $196,800. Final contract amount is $219,042.50. So we estimate the number of cracks and the pounds that we're going to use, and then they go out and start doing all the work as required. And it just so happens there was a couple more cracks than what we expected, and so that's what the overrun is. I wasn't gonna have them quit at 196,800 and leave a mile and a half of roadway undone. So
Okay, I move.
Okay, Warren,
Second.
seconded by Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Thank you very much. That should be it. Just so you know, in case you get a call, well, you won't get a call, but we've had 3 checks bounce.
Oh,
Menards, not a big deal. Gordon Construction from Noman for Foston's federal project, a bigger deal. And then our contractor that did our hot in place industrial out of Kansas. So wish it wouldn't happen, but not a good look for the county when you got contractors doing work for you and then they're bouncing. They may not want to come back and work, but anyway, just so you know,
Yeah.
that's the 3 that we've had, and
yeah,
hopefully it's fixed. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I've been briefed on it and I received, some calls and stuff, but, I mean, it's just, cause Stacy will touch on it when she comes in, so I'll just let her, explain it.
Yep.
So,
so
okay.
thank you very much.
We have a little grace time here.
You want me to take mine?
Sure. Oh, I'm not chair, sorry. Joan.
Go way ahead. Yeah. Does anybody need a break or should we?
No, let's,
No, Sam said he'll go.
Okay. Come on.
All right.
So the first thing that I have is an application for a gambling permit from St. Joe's Church in Foston. Fertile.
Yeah,
So excuse
Fertile.
me, I've got to get to my. I'm scrolling and talking. I'm sorry. in Fertile, they have to apply for it annually, and we've approved it every year. The application was submitted this morning, and it will be reviewed and submitted once the board approves.
Okay.
Conflict, and I will move.
I will second.
Thank you.
So all those in favor of the gambling permit, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. So the next item that I have for the agenda is the resolution looking to set the special election date to fill the vacant seat from Commissioner Holy. I know his wishes were to not have a special election, but I think he would respect having it as soon as possible for his constituents to be represented. With that in mind, I looked at the dates available. I think we have that on here. Yeah. So the combination of dates could be February 10th of 2026. Oh, and I see a spelling error already. And April 14th of 2026, or February 10th and May 12th, April 14th and August 11th, May 12th and August 11th, or the August and November dates. We can't do the April and May as a combination. It's just not enough time to turn around if there were multiple candidates or 3 or more candidates to get ballots and everything ready for a primary and then a general. It's just not enough time. I've also laid out a timeline if the board were to choose the February 10th and the April 14th dates, as I see those as probably the best avenue. We do have time to do it. If we don't choose the February 10th date as the election date today, the next meeting on the 18th would be exactly 84 days before that election. So it could still be done on that date, but that would cause a pushback on a lot of other things, like especially like the filing periods, everything like that, and it would get very, very tight then.
Yeah.
So whatever dates you pick, I would, if you're going to choose the February date, I would suggest we do that today. And again, recommend that we do February 10th and April 14th as the election dates.
Well, that's what I was thinking when we left last time. You know, I've been thinking about it since then.
No, I agree. I
And-
think
Mhm,
sooner that works without being a tight, giving people an opportunity to.
Yeah, it's still a tight window, but it's workable. It gives us a little over, well, what, 98 days.
Yeah.
So it's workable. We can do it. We have a timeline. I ran the timeline by the Secretary of State's office and through the county attorney through Greg's office. They both looked at it and said yes, like this should be fine. It follows statute. So
okay.
that's what I would look for is.
So if there is a primary, what would be the other date?
April
Yep, it would be
14th.
February 10th, and then the general would then be April 14th.
If otherwise, the general would be,
February 10th.
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know that, he did not want initially to, have a special, but, if we went and waited till the regular election, I mean, we'd almost be short for a whole year.
Whole year, yeah.
So,
Yeah, like I said, I think you would respect the decision.
mhm,
Mhm.
I will move on the 10th and the February 10th, April 14th.
I'll second that.
okay, so Paul and Gary, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I-
Carried.
Thank you. We'll get that posted today
Okay,
for the filing period to start on the 18th.
okay.
April, what was the date?
April
14th.
14th.
April 14th.
But we'll only need that
One
if
day
there's
before
more than
tax.
two that,
One day before tax day.
Right on. Everybody be remembered to go to the polls.
I went too far.
Obviously, it's just people in District 5
Yes.
are
Right.
voters. So
Right.
how do you set up? Can you remind me how that works?
Well, the interesting thing is going to be with East Grand Forks, because normally we've had a standalone absentee voting place for just the city over there. They've had some turnover
Mhm.
with their city clerk,
Yep.
who was a great help to us. So we'll be working with Reed, the administrator, to see how comfortable he is on setting anything up over there. But yeah, there's going to be that discussion and a lot of moving pieces, and I'll report back to the board as soon as I know anything. So probably at the next meeting,
Okay.
we'll have a little more on that. We just wanted to get dates finalized
No,
for sure.
I understand. I
Right.
just wasn't sure how the
Mhm.
process proceeded.
Yeah, it will be. I'll have more detail for you at the next
Mhm.
one.
So out of the polling places in that district, how many are in person?
That's a good question right offhand. You have the 5 for the city of East Grand Forks, the wards there.
Mhm.
There'll be three of them, three
And then-
wards.
Only 3 are part of the district.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
And
have the other
then
two.
let's see, is Sullivan still a polling place? I believe. I'd have to look to
Okay.
be 100% on all of them.
Yeah, and just, wondering like how many machines that,
Yeah,
we'll have to.
yeah. And for me, to be honest, the main focus was on the calendar of
Mhm,
okay, what days do we need to do stuff by? Ready for today.
mhm.
That was
Oh,
that was what.
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, that's where my focus was. So.
Right, yeah. No, that's
fine.
understandable. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks. Why don't we just take a little break here? Okay, welcome back. Next on our agenda is Greg.
Good morning.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Greg.
So, the first thing I have is just, it's seeking the board to ratify our maintenance support renewal contract for Minnesota County, the MCCC, and the company that does our case management software, STI.
Mhm.
And so it was approved 3 years ago. This is just a renewal of the contract, so I'm just looking for a motion approval to have that ratified and then have it signed by you.
Charges the same or no offhand?
They increase, and there's another case management software out there called Carpel that's a number of counties are going to too. It doesn't do civil side, it doesn't do other stuff. So, and like switching from any case management software to another, it's a big chunk of change up front. So I'm fine right now, and
Okay.
I'd rather stay here than come to you guys and say I need $200,000 to
Sure.
convert our case management software.
You need
Yikes.
what?
Yeah, it's an expensive process. So
Okay. Okay, so looking for a motion to approve this contract.
So move.
Warren,
Second.
seconded by Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So the second thing is, and this is something that just came up yesterday. We were supposed to have a law library board meeting yesterday, and it didn't work out for a number of reasons. Mark was your representative on the law library board, and so the law library board is looking for a replacement. So you guys can talk about that. The meetings are typically quarterly. They're on a Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock up at the courthouse. So, and we might have one next Monday. So if anyone's interested. Yep.
Okay.
No, I understand. But
Mhm.
so obviously we didn't really factor in until Monday, right?
Right, yeah.
So, or last week. So,
And I think I'm supposed to probably in 2 weeks bring the our list of assignments so then we can figure out what we need to
okay.
cover.
And if you want to wait, I mean, we can do our meeting next week. We can still, but there will be one if anyone wants to attend. I think next Monday. I'll send an email to Chuck when I get it. So,
Yeah, well, we can think on it and then we'll try
I'm
and
sure
make
you
a
got more
decision
than just
before
that,
we
but it
adjourn today.
just
So
came up. So
yeah.
the third thing is, I know Dana came before you and talked to you about our facility dog. So about a year ago or so, Dana came to me and said she was interested in getting a facility dog. There's about 4 of them in the state right now of Minnesota: Stearns, Onoka, and Olmsted.
Yeah, we're number 6.
Yeah, number 6, and they're dogs that are housed in county attorney's offices that help with. Well, I'll let Dana explain, but I'll just kind of explain to you how we got here. So Dana came to me, said she was interested. I was at our annual meeting for our county attorneys association last December. They had a presentation where they had the 4 dogs that existed at that time in the room in front of everyone who was showing, and one of them was trained by a company called Can Do Canines, who happens to be run by Jeff Johnson. Had run for AG and for governor. He's married to Sandy Lee, who is a year in front of me, classmate, right?
Right.
And so I was friends with him on Facebook, so I messaged him and said, hey, here you're doing this, we're kind of interested. Put him in touch with Dana, and 10 months later, here we are with a facility dog. So this is Silas. I'll let Dana introduce him to you and kind of show you what he can do so far.
This is Silas.
Hello, Silas.
Aaron Cody is our second handler, backup handler. So in the event I'm sick or on vacation, then Aaron will step in and she takes care of stuff. So kind of doing training together. So we spent a week in the cities learning everything that Silas does. So now it's us learning to get Silas to work for us and what we do. So we thought we'd just demonstrate a few of his things. This is only his second day here and he's kind of overwhelmed. So we'll just see what he actually will do for us today. His tail's showing me he's a little anxious, so I learned all about dogs' tails in the cities. It's amazing what their tails tell us. So yeah,
Yep.
Silas, sit. Yes. So he loves cookies, so we eat lots of those. It's just his regular daily kibble. It's nothing special, but Silas, bow. Silas, bow. Silas, bow. Bow. Oh yes. Wow. So we know a couple tricks, and those are mostly just our like icebreakers with victims and things. Silas, sit. Shake. Thank you. Shake. Yes. Shake. All right. So we're gonna have Aaron sit over here. And we're gonna demonstrate how he will work with the victim. So just help her sit there. We do have front and back of all the different cues. They say cues and not commands. It's a new word I'm learning. So this is nothing like I've had dogs my whole life. It's nothing like that. So he knows all of these. These are all of his cues that he does. So let's put this over here. Yeah. So if I'm talking to a victim, you know, and we're trying to provide comfort and things, oh, he likes to park. This is like, he's really good at this. This is what we call a park. This is probably because he's very comfortable in this. And this is what we would have him do in a courtroom, to sit under a witness stand with a victim and supply, you know, he lays against a leg, he puts pressure on that. Silas, break. Okay, you want to shake your leg. So, you know, this is a sign of somebody being very anxious. So, Silas, nudge, nudge. So he can give a nudge, which is a pressure to the leg, to kind of, you know, get somebody to calm down. Or we can do Silas, visit, visit, and he can lay his head on a lap. So yes, and we love our cookies. So you know, now it's like we're working on the duration of the visits and things. So Silas, visit. Yeah.
He's very soft.
Yeah, he's part golden and lab, so he's a mix. He was part of their breeding program at Canyon Canine, so he was bred specifically to be a service dog. They do mostly mobility type service animals, and then they just got into the facility dogs. So he is the first one from his litter to be placed. So we're really excited to have Silas. One of his other big things that he can do within our office, it's a little hard to demonstrate here, but he can do what's called a snuggle. So we have a love seat in my office that we took that we weren't using somewhere else. And someone who's sitting there, he can get up and then he'll lay across the lap with his front half of his body, and that puts a pressure there and a comfort. So it's really knowing the deep pressure points and things that we use him for with that.
So obviously he can help with victims at any time or anyone else. You know, if the court has someone testifying in a divorce, they can ask that Dana come in there. I mean, he's really designed to be a facility dog, right, for the courthouse. And a lot of times when we have victim or minor victims testify, we have support people sit. Statute authorizes someone who's not a witness in the case to sit next to him, can't testify, can't talk, just there for support, right? Now they're using dogs. So the dog will come in. Stearns County, they've got a number of court orders. Dog will come in, he'll do exactly that. So sit between the person's leg while they testify, just calming presence for him there. Won't make any sound, no distractions, no nothing. So that's kind of the hope down the road is, well, I mean, that's the plan.
Yeah. So they, it'll be about 6 months before he's fully graduated from training. So we'll participate in the graduation ceremony down at Candu Canines. They do have a prison program as well that they use to train their dogs. So they use inmates. It's a very, very tough program for inmates to get through into. They have some wonderful information and videos on their website if you were interested in that. So he has been trained by multiple different scenarios and situations to be what he is. So he doesn't bark. I've only heard him bark once for a rabbit at home in the backyard. So
He gets to be a dog at home.
yes, he gets to be a dog at home.
So you
this-
can.
This is work mode, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he has the vest on. Unlike a normal service dog, he doesn't go into buildings other than county buildings unless we have prior approval from the building owners to bring him in. He can be used if there was a incident with law enforcement or something, that if law enforcement needed some comfort, we can take him in to work with law enforcement as well. So he can be used with staff if needed for any incident that would occur. Yes. And we love cookies, so we're just looking for those because he's
the
doing.
cutest dog, but we can't pet him.
Yep.
No. Yeah.
So
That's been the hardest part.
it's really hard to have this cute dog walking around and not be able to go.
We get to say hi, but we don't get to engage with him.
Oh.
Yeah. So when he has his vest on, he is completely in work mode, and we don't interact unless he's given the cues to do so.
So he can have the vest off and the collar and the muzzle off at home.
Yes. So this is just a head collar. It's not a muzzle. So all it does is kind of give him a little bit more. He doesn't tug quite as much, and again, it's part of his uniform
Oh,
for work. So, but it doesn't restrict his muzzle.
One of his
at all.
commands is dress.
So
Or
his dress
his cues.
command is to put on
Oh, sure.
his muzzle. So
So then, I mean, it kind of reacts the same way like a canine when they put their vest on, if they know they're going to work. And
yeah, he is definitely a different dog when he puts the vest on. Then
Mhm.
he gets that work mode in. So
You should show him the get.
oh yeah. So okay, Silas, break. So he does know this is kind of nice. This is more his mobility dog training before they decided, what he'd be used for, but get it. Yes, good job. So he can pick things up off the floor. Yeah, good job. Yes, can you sit? Can you wave? Wave, Silas. Yeah. Those are just some of his little tricks. Yeah, good boy. So yes, we can get it. So it's helpful if you drop your leash or something, he can pick up his own leash. But yeah.
How old is he?
He has just turned 3 years old. So end of September.
So before this, what was he? Just a house dog?
No, he has, from the time he was born, he has been worked to be a service animal.
Oh, okay.
Maybe companies sponsor litters, and then they name the dogs.
So Affinity Credit Union down in the cities is they're sponsored this litter, so they get naming rights when they sponsor a litter. And so Silas was the name he got, and it's the S litter. So every litter has a letter of the alphabet. And so they take him into the place that sponsors them. They've kind of followed the dogs from birth until through placement and things. So part of his graduation ceremony at Can Do Canines is people from the sponsors, people who have been like for holidays or weekends, he might go with a foster doggy family for the weekend or volunteers that they use. So those people who have been the breeders, everybody from the very beginning will all come and kind of celebrate his success. So I know they're doing a big fundraiser for Give to the Max Day if anybody's interested, and for $100 you can name a puppy in the H litter. So
So, do you get to participate in the training then too?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. So she went to the facility and was trained, and so now we're just kind of letting him acclimate before I start taking
Sure.
more training. That way I can fill in for her if she is out of the office.
That's the best right there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got room under.
I know, I go into her office and he's just all cozied up and he's got a soft kennel in her office with a nice big pillow in it. And he's
Oh,
just
yeah.
sitting there snoozing away, and I was like, oh.
Fits right under the vest.
Walking around, you don't even know he's in the office.
Yeah, no, he's so quiet, and he's like her shadow, and just kind of follows her around.
Do you have to have the leash on in the office then?
When I'm walking around, yes. If he's in my office, we take it off.
Oh, okay.
So
He still
Yeah.
keeps the
vest on.
The vest
right?
on and stuff,
Yeah, but we take the other off.
and then he has to walk a mile a day.
Yeah, minimum of a mile a day for walks for exercise. So get me in
He is
shape too.
Dana's new workout.
Yeah.
Whether she wants it or
Yeah,
not.
whether I want it or not.
So she'll walk him around the arena if it's not nice out.
Yeah,
So he's been there.
twice.
Twice?
When it's been raining. So.
Yeah.
When he works with the client, does the client touch the dog?
So like if someone were to come in, first of all, I'm going to ask them, are you comfortable with a dog being present? Because if somebody has a fear of dogs or allergy or something, we don't want to put them in a situation. And if they are, then, we can talk. And if they want to interact, then I can give commands and work with them to do that. So to do the visit, it's a thing in my office. They could sit on the love seat and really get that one-on-one with the snuggle. And he likes to do that. So he will sit there for a very long time and snuggle with somebody if they want. And it's really comforting for someone if they're having a really bad time. And, when you're working with domestic violence, sexual assault, and those are the victims that normally come into our office. It can be a very comforting and therapeutic type thing that it does.
And so like during like a court case, then he would be seated with the victim before anybody else gets in the courtroom?
Typically, that's what they've done. Yep. They got the victim seated, got the dog set.
And put them in park mode and
Yep. Park mode underneath them.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because
Good deal.
we can walk all around, and he does not leave that spot until he's told to.
There you go.
Thank you guys.
Very
you.
So
Great.
we're really excited to have this as a resource for our victims in Polk County.
Definitely.
So.
Definitely.
Well, thank
think-
you for
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was great.
the project.
Yeah, I asked her if she's got any regrets yet. A lot of good pictures.
Yeah, make sure we make it public, put it in the news and in the paper, on the TV, on the radio.
You want to hear her maybe? For both?
Oh, side to side.
So she can tell him which side to go to.
Here we go.
Cool, you guys. That's awesome. Picture time, Silas.
I'm gonna take this. Can I get him to look at me?
Oh, no. That's it. That's it.
We have a pretty good picture that our office manager took also. That we can
Sit, buddy. There we go. Sit. Look at Aaron.
Silas.
Oh. Yeah.
That's so
Like
good.
to lay down. It's really hard when the vest is on not to, but
Yeah.
this is working. Like,
Walking it up. He's standing.
so this week is just observing our office, kind of acclimating
How would
to
you-
things. So he's not in the office full days yet. It'll be a couple of weeks before we're in there every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy that, you connected with this program and, willing to do it. It's a wonderful resource.
So Polk County, we're the first rural county in Minnesota to have one. So it's very exciting.
Well, you'll be walking the arena in the winter time because it's gonna be too cold, so.
Well, and I know I have back issues, so I'm not gonna fall on the ice. So yes, we I talked to Scott Butts and we have permission in the winter as long as he has his vest on to walk out there.
Because
So.
there'll be a lot of kids that are gonna love to see them.
Yeah. And you know, I've been really impressed. There was some kids playing and a little girl must have been maybe 7, 8 years old that came up. She's like, "Can I pet your dog?" And I explained, I said, you know, he has a vest on. I said, I really appreciate you asking. He's a service type dog, so we can't pet him. But you can sure say hi. And so she said hi and, you know, talked to him for a minute. And, you know, we weren't at a place in our training yet where we could do a lot of
Oh, sure.
interaction with
Sure,
people,
sure.
So, you know, for any service dog that you see, I mean, you're not supposed to pet them.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, especially if it's a service dog for someone with a disability or
Mhm.
using them for that purpose. You know, it does say, please don't pet me, I'm working.
Mhm.
This dog needs to be really cued in on the person that they're working for
Mhm.
and knowing what they're doing with that person. He likes to stand on this side or this side. So even like on our walks, you know, he kind of gets ahead and it's okay a little bit, but then I'll stop and make sure he's back where he's supposed to be. But yes, they're supposed to be very cued in with their handlers. So if you're trying to pet a service dog or interact with them, you're distracting them from their job.
Mhm.
So, yeah. He's a little different. The reason he's good for a facility dog versus a mobility dog is he's a little more into the people around him. And so that makes him a better facility dog because he's interested in those around him.
Mhm. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Having us.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, little buddy.
All right.
Dana,
Yes.
does Silas have any kind of official title or just facility dog?
It's facility dog. Very lucky you. Yeah, you were very good.
We're gonna have to workshop that.
Official snap.
Yeah, official snuggler.
That's his nickname.
Oh,
Well, thank you very much.
yes, thanks.
Thank you. All right.
Sure. Let's go.
Okay, Stacy. Yep.
You get to follow the puppy.
Hard to follow, but
Yeah, I know it well.
Those big brown eyes. Oh my word. Sweet.
By the way, Judge Rasmussen got the first snuggle out of yesterday at the courthouse, so.
That's not fair.
And she's in love, I think.
Yeah, she would like dogs, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so
Morning, back to focus, I guess. Sorry. We have a opening in our counter staff, so we're just looking for the approval to go ahead and post that position. It is one of our counter staff at the that's working on at the Taxpayer Service Center. So we would just like permission to go ahead and get that posted so we can get that to full staff.
So moved.
Oh, thank you.
For a second.
Gary and Paul,
Thank you, thank you.
are you going to keep the requirements of the job the same?
At this time, yes. I think, someday we may revisit the job description and duties, but for right now, being I'm still learning and we're still kind of analyzing where all that fits, yes, I think we'll keep it the same for now.
Okay.
But definitely we would love to have somebody who would like to, work forward someday too. Those are good qualities.
Right, yeah. Okay. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, and then I think the other item is banking update. We used to utilize Bremer, which is now ONB. And so we just kind of wanted to make board aware we've had some transitional issues that we're still trying to work through, which is unfortunate. It's just added to our burdens, which is kind of causing some difficulties for us and our vendors. So we originally had a few, I think 3 employees that we had to reissue manual checks for on payroll day. We were under the understanding that we did not need to update routing and account numbers. We did update our routing number, but there was a failure on the bank end with the new account numbers. Those 3 individuals had different account numbers issued, so their payments didn't go through. So we did reissue as quickly as we could replacement checks for payday. And then last week, we unfortunately had 98 checks get not processed. Some of those involved social services groups or whatever, and some very large vendors. And vendors we use consistently. So we're working with ONB staff, which really were our old Bremer folks, are working as quickly as they can to try to solve the issue. We're still seeing a high number of checks being flagged as fraudulent, which is really what started the original issue to begin with. But because of that, it's hard to weed through who. Some individuals have been able to represent the check and the banks have reprocessed it, and other banks are not reprocessing the check when it's represented the second time. And so then we're having to weed through. And then we had, I think, one bank actually just re-push through the checks. So it's kind of a mixed bag of that. So it's a matter of weeding through who has, and then some companies have a policy where they will not represent the check. So it's just trying to get those highest priorities obviously are the social services. So they are working with their clients. I did do a cashier check on Friday to get one individual a check because we weren't sure how else to do it. So we're working through that, but it has been disappointing, but they are working on it. I mean, I know that they are. Transitions are hard, but Joe's been good to work with. I mean, they're doing what they can. We're working with another individual through the Fargo office, and they're doing what they can as well. But we're just, I don't know if we got the luck of the draw or if others are experiencing similar issue. But, and then this just brings up the question of whether the other checks will go through, because all the outstanding checks need to be able to go through as well, because they have our old information on them. So the checks are supposed to be good for 2 years. So we're getting additional calls from people kind of just questioning whether the checks will clear. But, you know, think about a business we issue, a check is good usually for 6 months. So those checks should also go through without any issue, but that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, some of you have gotten calls about
Yes.
how come somebody's check hasn't gone through. I've had questions sent to me about situations.
Yes, and we will.
I hate to do it because she's so busy, but we're going to give the result to Stacy because that's the only consistent point of access we've got to what's going on. But partially wanted to talk about it here in the open meeting for anybody watching, anybody listening at KROX that is experiencing that. The county obviously is good for our payments, but it's like she says, it's a transition problem with Old National Bank, and it's unfortunate, and we're hoping it gets cleared up quickly because our business doesn't stop.
Right. And then and actually good point that Chuck brought up regarding any NSF fees that anybody incurs, we will reimburse those, and then we will work with Old National to get reimbursement for those. So another reason it is kind of flowing through myself with Heather helping me. But yeah, it's hard to know, you know, you're kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't, of how many people do you contact, how do you reach out to everybody. We don't, you know, there's just a lot of names on the list. And some have been able to represent and it's fine, and others have not. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but we're keeping track of every check. So that is part of it as well. We're keeping track of every check, who's got the NSF, who's been able to cash it, who hasn't. Just so it.
Well, that's unfortunate that they have to, because of their transition, that they issued a NSF.
They issued it as refer to maker on the rejection. Some banks are saying then that the refer to maker requires that the individual go to our bank to cash it. Other banks have just accepted it and pushed it back through because they know we're good for it. So it's just, you know, and then we've had some banks who won't do it because they feel, you know, but because a lot of people use mobile banks. it's not a local bank. So the local banks, I think, have been more apt to reprocess it, knowing that it's what's going on and that we're good for the funds. Whereas others, if they're a bank locally, have been more to know we need to reissue the check.
Yeah.
So it's also kind of highlighted some other things internally, just that we need to kind of work through as well.
Yeah, yeah, because I actually have been contacted by a bank on the east side, and I just told them,
It's good.
what was going on and stuff. So
Yeah, and they are doing, but the hard part is it's a transition, so hence they've got other transitional issues going on and trying to respond to us as timely because there's only so many of them to respond to everybody's transitional questions. So, but locally, that they've been very responsive. Joe's been on top of it, doing what we can. It's just unfortunate. It's not an easy fix.
right, yeah.
So we've got open enrollment going on for the employees, we've got payroll software changes, we've got budget going. Fortunately, we've just completed the audit, although the 2025 audit
Yep.
has to start, so
Yeah.
the timing of this couldn't be worse.
And short-staffed. So, we're just, hey, why not?
Doing a good job. Keep it up.
Just one thing at a time.
Oh.
So yes, we've been a little bit delayed in responses to some things, but we're getting there.
I mean, I think that
One moment at a time.
yeah, the snowball can only get so big, hopefully.
I keep saying that. But we'll get there.
I'm expecting a request for a service dog.
Service dog would be good. Yeah.
About Northwest Regional Development Commission, we had a committee meeting on Friday,
Uh-huh.
same issues.
Oh,
But there they are getting requests from the two other banks in town to take over their whole business.
yeah.
Are you getting some of those?
No, I have not gotten that, but yes, I think there could be some of that as well in terms of those that have been willing to work with us and reprocess those checks, and those banks that haven't been willing to reprocess those checks.
We're going through one trauma at a time.
We're taking, yeah.
Once we get past first of the year, we can look back
And then, yeah.
assess everything.
Mhm.
We had discussions even going back with Abdo
Mhm.
about. As far as I can tell, we've never had a RFP for banking services.
Mhm.
It gets muddlesome. Some
Mhm.
of what we wanted is why we have this issue.
Mhm.
Frankly, positive pay portion, maybe Bremer had that, but it's not a solution to everything.
Right.
Mhm.
It's a whole nother set of effort.
Mhm.
Right now, effort is spread about as thin as we can go because we've got so many things going on. But we're just hanging in here as long as the board understands this. We wanted you to know about it because you're hearing about it. I'm hearing about it daytime, nighttime. And anybody watching, and anybody that will listen to the interview that will take place after this. KOX, to summarize what's going on and understand what's going on. And like you say, I think the staff at Old National certainly is trying, but nobody really wants to be dealing with this.
No, and I put myself in their shoes, and it's a transition is exhausting. So if we're just one of others that may be having that, it's not, the staff here didn't choose to have the transition. So they're just doing the best that they can given what they're faced with as well. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of dirty pool when other banks want to take advantage of that. I think a little bit. So no, I don't know that jumping, ship is necessarily the response.
One of the issues in discussions there was that the new banking system doesn't provide all the services.
Then it's a different question. Yes. So that is the business question of is we were happy with Bremer and those services. Now, Old National themselves need to prove themselves, but we know the staff are still the same staff, but it doesn't mean that the bank is still the same bank.
Right.
That the way to say it, I guess.
It's more than just a name change.
Yes, yeah, and the staff don't have control of that, right?
If you want to compare notes with somebody, Ann Jopru is your name. She's the financial person at Northwest Regional.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So anyways, but thank you.
Yep,
Any other questions?
No,
No, we're good? Okay, I'm gonna go back.
You have things to do.
Yeah, we've got some things to do better. We'll get there. Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Okay, John.
it hit the news.
Out there with the dog for a while.
Your way.
There you go. Good morning.
Morning, John.
Morning. Just a couple things on the agenda. The first one is our hauling contract. We refer to as the roll-off hauling contract. It actually includes a little bit more than that. Basically, it's hauling the roll-offs for Polk County between Crookston Transfer Station, the landfill, and the resource recovery facility in Foston. It also includes, aside from the roll-offs, it also includes the leachate hauling, which is in a tanker, and then the fines hauling that they're doing in side dump trailers. It's a 3-year contract, and we bid it so that we could extend it if we wanted or needed to. We have been looking at other options. If you recall, last time we bid it, we had no bids. We had to go into negotiation with the current hauler at the time. There wasn't much of a negotiation. We saw some major price increases, and that got us looking at maybe we should be doing, at least considering doing our own hauling or breaking up the hauling contract some other way. Try and get some competition, make it easier for some individuals take over part of the contract. Where maybe they weren't bidding it or looking at because they couldn't do other parts of it. So we were looking at doing that. We engaged Stantec to do a hauling study for us. I have the final draft, but there were some questions with it and things they need to nail down, so I don't have that final in there, but it should be giving us some ideas on what would be if we were to take it over, and also if we were to break it up, how to break it up. So I did hear from, I was working on quotes to break into 2 parts, one for a tractor for doing the fines and doing the leachate hauling, another one for the roll-off. We've had a number of new roll-off companies come into the market in the last 18 months or so. So we're looking at doing that. I ended up speaking with the current hauler, Sand and Gravel, and they said if we wanted to, they would be willing to extend the service for another year at the existing prices. In looking at the date on the calendar, we still don't have the final study done to present to the board with a recommendation. It just made sense to extend that contract for calendar year 2026. So that was my recommendation to the board, is to extend that so we can come up with a better game plan for going forward. Also, there are grants that have been offered out there that maybe if we are going to break it up and get into hauling or maybe supplying the equipment to make it easier for people to bid, that we could take advantage of those. So I know there's supposed to be a couple of those coming here in the next, I believe, 4 or 5 months that may offer an opportunity. Not that anything's guaranteed, but there's that possibility in doing it. So that would be my recommendation, to approve a 1-year extension with Lennis Sand and Gravel for the roll-off hauling contract at the exact same terms.
Okay, so looking for a motion.
I'll move.
Warren,
Second.
seconded by Paul. Any discussion?
So for the term between 1 to 3 years, and we're only asking for one?
That's all we're looking for. So we don't need to lock in. We can at the end of 2026 if we want to extend it.
Okay.
If both parties are willing to,
Okay.
we can.
Okay.
But again, the intent would be looking at the study. Can we do better?
Okay.
And maybe not even better in the short term, but better in the long term.
Long run.
Because right now we've always had two companies bidding it, and then one of them has quit bidding it.
Yep.
Others play around with it, but they don't end up coming in with a
Right.
bid.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay. The next item up is the co-collected organics and compost grant. Some change orders there. We have two grants right now with the MPCA award in 2024. One was for $850,000. That's the enhanced recycling grant. The other one was this co-collected organics and the compost grant for $1.5 million. And then we had to put in a 20% match. Both projects were probably a little over on the match requirements to make them work. As it relates to the organics grant, we have with the compost and our issues with the MPCA's permitting, it's delayed doing some of the things with the compost pad out there that were anticipated. In talking with the PCA, they were open to us moving money to cover some of these overages away from the pad. We can still do the project, which is the aerated static pile system. We've ordered the bunkers out there. We'll put in the blower system, so we can still accomplish the intent of the grant for the MPCA's purposes. We just wouldn't be doing the pad. And then move those monies over to cover some of the overruns and changes that we have to make in order to make the construction work. So I do have to do that change order, which is why you see the change order contingent on MPCA grant amendment. I can't finalize the one without getting the other one done first, or it's ineligible. But we're at the point where we're going to be finishing up the grant, the construction work out there, and we don't have the change orders approved. So basically it was boiled down to is 3 change orders. Change order number 1 in the amount of $250,497.50. A lot of that was for that infeed belt work. We had to take that apart. It was in pretty bad shape. We had to order the parts. I want to say it was about $74,000 in parts alone. But they already had the equipment on site. They had the expertise to do it, and they could do it in a short period of time. The other major part of that is the cross belt magnet to pull out the large metal that gets by. It runs in the opposite stream. And that causes a lot of our damage in the incinerator right now. And since we had that open for them to get back to, and they had the equipment on site, took advantage of that. So that will be part of this project. And then to cover some of the tariffs for the double deck fine screen and the bag opener. We left out the large tariff for the robots. Right now we're working with Waste Robotics Canada. They don't believe that we should be paying any tariffs on it. And they've been going to their customers to get documentation where they've shipped to the United States the same robotic system and weren't charged tariffs.
Is it timing or?
They think it's just we have a bad decision. So they've been very upset with this process. And so that's why they're going to their other customers, because this is a big impact on their business if they're going to see a 50% tariff on their products. But they're considering it basically a discriminatory thing at this point. Being they've had other customers during the tariffs that have had equipment shipped in without having anything assessed. And then we get hit with the 50%. I think I covered that the previous meeting. We were basically given about a day and a half to pay the tariff, or we'd start paying a fine per kilogram metric. Uh, so, we paid it knowing we could file a request for redecision. We're thinking at worst, we should be paying a tariff on the metal, not the price of the equipment. And that would drop that price down roughly to $30,000 to $60,000 versus $230,200, I believe is the dollar amount. So we didn't put that in there. As of yesterday's meeting with them, they were just down to one customer that was kind of dragging their feet about using their information. They flew a representative out to meet with that company to try and get their approval. So, like I said, they seem to be taking it pretty seriously.
Yeah.
So that's change order number one. Change order number two, the belt that takes the material into the trommel, when they pulled that out to relocate the cardboard screener, when they pulled it off, there was some metal rusted in there, and one of the supports on the bed, it actually just fallen. It was just kind of hanging there. So had to make a very quick decision on that because they were changing it and hooking it back up again. So basically that was just time and materials on that one. And then change order number three, omitted from their quote, was extending the power and the airdrops over because they didn't have confirmation on exactly where they would go.
Okay.
So that was omitted, and then we have to bring an internet connection over to them. And we found out later an internet connection over to the bag opener. So they're providing both drops since they're going to be up there doing that work. And then Levi will go out and certify those, and I believe that happens Thursday. Is the timeline right now. At least that's when their representatives will be on site to start commissioning it. So I don't know if they need the lines live by Thursday or Friday or Saturday, but it'll be right in there. So those were the three in there. We would redistribute $245,000 from the compost pad over to cover. It obviously doesn't cover everything when the first one's $250,000, but you reduce that greatly in doing that. So I do have to file the amendment with the state. I think they can do it administratively, so it won't take very long to do. We had an in-person visit probably 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, discussing it, and they said just send the paperwork over. But we've been trying to nail down these numbers, so that's why we've kind of drug it out a bit. So it would be my recommendation to approve change order number 1, change order number 2, and change order number 3 for that grant, contingent on MPCA's grant amendment being finalized. So that's all what you want.
Okay. Okay, so looking for a motion on the change orders, and they'll just all be under one motion. So
move.
Paul,
Second.
okay, second by Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
How much time do I got before I get you
We
behind?
should wrap you up before 10.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay.
Yep, so
I'll
about
try
10
and get
minutes.
you done a little bit before that.
Welcome to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your department.
Oh, okay. Just some quick things on the construction over there in Foston. Everything seems to be proceeding. We're probably a couple days behind once they started. We got the new construction update. They're doing a lot of work on weekends after hours, and then Todd is manipulating the schedules a bit to create 3 and 4 day weekends for them to work uninterrupted. So we've been operating pretty much as we need to get by, keeping on top of all the recyclables that come in, because we can't send those to the landfill, and enough to keep the incinerators going. We had one incinerator down. We had transformer go out on the ESP that we had to shut it down. So that was a pretty large expense to have that shipped up from Texas and put in. But we got that back up and online. Not exactly sure what happened when the city of Austin was shutting power off. Was that 3 weeks ago now?
I'm not sure.
The power company had issues. They told us they were going to take things down on
Oh,
a
yeah, that's right.
Friday,
Yep.
and
Okay.
leading up to it, there was a lot of outages and things like that. So when we came back up and brought the one unit online, the ESP was tripping out. It would come back up at calibrate, and then it would just slowly slide. It wasn't getting the voltage it needed. It was pretty obvious if we kept it online that we were going to be in violation of our air permit, so we had to shut it down. They sent a rep up. They tested it. They felt the transformer was bad. And we had the choice to rebuild it, which would have probably had us down for a couple months, or we could buy, they had one on hand. So we bought that, and that kept us down for a little over a week. And we're back up and running. So not an expected thing. My guess is it's somehow related to the power. I don't know if it browned out. And I'm sure it's aged equipment. It's from the 80s, but
Or if there was a surge or something.
yeah. So we had to deal with that. Kind of covered the bag opener robots. The bag opener's in place. The robot platform is in place. They're sending out their tech on Thursday to start commissioning the robots, and then they'll be putting in the screeners, the third piece of equipment. That'll probably start going in over the weekend here. We'll be bypassing those pieces of equipment until they're commissioned. But right now it looks like everything will start being commissioned at the end of this week and next week. And by Thanksgiving, we'll probably have everything up and operating. And then you'll probably be looking at a week or two of tuning to get everything in place, work out the bugs. And then we should be wrapped up, I would think, by December 1.
Okay.
As far as the landfill, we have preliminary meeting with our new landfill engineer a little week and a half ago. It was online. That wasn't what we were looking for, but I guess it served its purpose for introduction purposes and laying some groundwork. They'll be on site. The new engineer will be on site at the landfill tomorrow. And we'll walk around and start looking at these things. We have to start making some big decisions on long-term development decisions, what to do with this, what to do with that.
Another 10-year plan.
A 10-year permit.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Permit. We have to file our 10-year permit application by next summer. So,
But at least we got ours now.
but yeah, we got it.
At the end of the 10 years.
A little over 10 years after we applied for it, and 8.5 years after it was conditionally issued. So we need to do that. Hopefully, in order to make that application, we need to know what direction we're going. And that's really the reason why we need to have these meetings and start figuring things out. So we were approached by the city of Fargo about buying our used, our old BOMEG compactor that burned up. We had that fire 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. They like to buy that for parts.
Oh, okay.
So it gets a little tricky between government entities. So I don't have an offer from them. I want them to present an offer. Is there any heartburn on doing that? I have to bring it up here for approval. It'd be public entity to public entity,
We
basically.
don't need it for parts.
Well, our new one is too new to use those, and the old one would be the next one replaced.
Right.
So, we don't have a whole lot of use for that. So,
yeah.
If there are any
Well, if
concerns?
there's bargain hunting, that's when the only problem with making an offer.
Well, you know,
See what they're,
again, we can always say no, but right now,
I mean, it's not doing
It's-
us any good
yeah,
either.
it can't run and
So
the
would
thing's,
there be
what,
any advantage
60,
to us to setting a price and see if they want to pay it?
what would you set the price based on? Is
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
Yes, yes.
I think we'll review it at a staff level.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
Yeah,
recommendation.
yeah, and see what, you know, if they
I
come
agree.
forth with something, so, yeah.
Okay, then as far as the resource recovery facility, I already updated on the transformer. I was contacted by PCA, to discuss our non-compliance when we failed the stack test on unit number 2. So there will be a fine levied. Don't know what it is. He did readily acknowledge that we couldn't have acted any faster, and that's taken into account. In there, they're having trouble coming up with what the corrective action is. They have to have a corrective action. They know what we're doing with the bag opener would alleviate a lot of that, but the problem with identifying that is then it would mean we've been out of compliance the entire time, the way
Right.
they regulate things. So I think we settled on that I'll have to just write up a formal plan on how we screen materials that would take that into account. I think they recognized, and I stated as much, that I don't know that we were necessarily out of compliance. I still believe that there was something that happened during the testing that either at the lab or the sample collection was wrong. But when you don't get the results till 2 months later,
Yeah,
there's no way of retesting it. Both, if either entity knew they did something wrong, they would have said something, so we could have retested. They're not aware of anything. So everyone has to make the assumption that isn't the case, but it doesn't make any sense. We had compliant tests. We did absolutely nothing once we found out, tested a week and a half later without making a single adjustment, and easily passed. Not just once, we did an engineering study where we passed on that as well, and all of those numbers were consistent. And the crazy high number looks like if it was just off by 1 decimal place, like someone didn't dilute it one extra time, because they're going so low they have to keep diluting it to get a reading. If someone diluted it 9 times and really we're supposed to do it 10,
right,
that number would have fit right in with everything else. But you have to go off of what you did. We needed a reason. The only reason we could come up with was that something weird went through in the fuel, that after it passed, we were right back into compliance again. We may never see that again.
Hopefully.
But obviously, if we had seen it, could identify it, it wouldn't have been in there.
Right.
So,
But giving you a fine does not make sense to me. But
well,
it must be.
they have to.
Yeah.
Because of violation. So,
Yeah, it's not,
but it's discretionary, so we'll see what it comes back as. So I was told we would have that probably within 2 weeks. That was a little over a week ago now, and then we have 30 days. So basically about 45 days to respond. So just so you're aware, that's
Well, we can
coming.
settle on $1 fine.
What's that?
If they give us $1 fine, just pay it.
A $1 fine? Yeah, that'd be fine. I would contribute that. I don't think it's going to be that.
I don't know.
$2?
Negotiating with the wrong person. So.
Well, I'll just have to, get in touch with my connection at MPCA and see what he can do.
Oh, you have connections in MPCA? Okay. I think mine have kind of dried up a bit.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
I drove past White Earth last week.
Transfer station?
Yep.
Yep.
And so they've got all the material off the outside of the building. So it's just the frame and the roof.
Yep.
So
They'll be rebuilding. We were down, I was down St. Paul for a meeting last week, and then we had a equipment demo over in Truman, which is on the Iowa border pretty much. We were down there with a couple of the counties that were part of the 9-county group. And while we were down there, Cass County, Minnesota, for those online. Had a fire at their transfer station, so I don't know how bad it was, but it's pretty helpless to be on the other end of the state when there's a fire at your facility.
I did not know.
Yeah, it's most likely a lithium-ion battery that lit. We had a fire at the landfill. It was pretty small. That's when we had the really high winds going, so we had the fire department out. They didn't have to put any water on it or anything. We got under control, but most likely that was a lithium battery that ignited with the high winds, and they just burned all the little things sticking out of the cover. Looked like a giant birthday cake, but they're nasty.
Yeah, and it's not just an issue in Minnesota.
No, it's national.
Yeah. So.
Any other questions or?
Nope. Nope. I've got.
You're on that. What do they call that? SWAG group or?
Yeah, we meet tomorrow morning.
Yeah, they have me presenting at that. You knew that, right?
No, I didn't. Oh, okay. I will be joining it a little bit late because I have another meeting at the same time that I have to chair, and then I'll join on there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I was asked to speak to the group as well as Dave Fink with St. Louis County and Roger Schroeder, I believe, with Lyon County.
Okay.
It's on permitting stuff. So.
Yeah, I got a lot of harassment at the policy meetings after we did our presentation, and that we've been operating without a permit.
That we have?
We had been, yep.
You got a hard time from who?
Well, just, some of the other commissioners and stuff were giving me a hard time about it.
Just wishing they would do that?
Well, some understood what we were going through, and others were like, eh.
There's an awful lot that understand.
Yes,
I don't think they understand what we were going through, but I think they have their own issues and concerns.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Jake.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Handout is just to get passed around. So I got several action items today. The first one is a final plat. This should be fairly familiar to everyone. This is the Connor addition. No new lots being created in this particular plat. They're looking at adjusting some property lot lines on a back lot, 2 back lots actually on Maple Lake. Couple things to note. So this was just actually last month I brought this to your guys' attention in front of you regarding this. It's to deal with parcels 30.00452.04 and 30.00584.00. Really the big ordinance standard that falls into suit here is this section 18.2147, non-riparian lots abutting non-conforming riparian lots of record. So this area of Maple Lake is very old. These particular lots of game subdivision were done well before we had a shoreland ordinance. You can see that most of these are 50-foot lots. Subsequently, these back lots here were created to kind of align with these. And that follows suit with that standard. Really the area of interest here is this back area. That is where the adjustment's taking place. So this particular orange shaded area, this was actually in Bergstrom Seifert second edition. All this was platted. This property was unplatted. So that's why there's 2 parcels on the plat, adjusting those property lot lines so they have nice clean legals for recording purposes. We did have language added. I don't think that it's in the actual packet here. I think this was the old, this is the preliminary. There is language now that is added that's in front of you today. I just recently got that, where the language is that that particular back lot is the development restrictions follow in line with our section 18.2147, which states it's only for shed use, no dwellings. So septic use or dwelling use, or dwelling use would be prohibited on that particular small backlot parcel that the Brad and Chris Connor own. It's shed use only here per that statute, or per that section of our shoreline ordinance. So they were fine with that. It's stamped right on the plat for clarity purposes. So I do
That's
have,
on lot 2.
that's correct. Yep, the smaller of the two. The other parcel is developable, can be kind of configured via replatting in the future. That has no restrictions. It's that other parcel, that lot 2 Connor addition.
Thank you.
So I do have the plat we'll need to sign. We'll do that at the end of my time, if that'll work.
Okay,
So,
sounds good.
yeah, looking for final approval of that plat so they can finalize and record that document.
So move.
Paul? And seconded by Gary. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Okay, next action item I have is Sam Haley, a conditional use permit request. Looking at taking an existing accessory structure and hooking it to a new septic system. That would be a holding tank septic system. The applicant currently has a failing septic system. It's functionally failing. They own a riparian lot that extends, on the lake side, and then the back lot side, it's the same parcel number, which isn't uncommon along that Maple Inn Road southeast area. When they created properties, they just said the parcels go, on this side of the road and that side of the road. Their front lot parcel is very small. It's 50 by 150 in size. So they actually obtained a variance to place a septic tank for the cabin on that property. The Board of Adjustment approved that variance at our October 24th meeting. And so they have a variance to actually locate a septic tank 4 feet from the property lot line and 4 feet from the cabin. Currently on the site, since the cabin is so small, they have an 8 by 10 shed on the site, which has a bathroom facility, existing bathroom facility. It houses their water heater, their water softener, their well pump. All the facilities go into that structure and then feed the cabin. When we initially discussed this with the applicants, it was, well, can we move the shed? The shed is sitting on a concrete foundation. It does not meet the 10-foot setback off the property lot line. They're aware if, barring something would happen with that structure, we would like to get that so it is 10 feet away from the property lot line and a conforming structure. So being it houses all those infrastructure and then it feeds the cabin on the site, it's really a necessity for them. Hence, when they're applying for their application, that really they would have to add on to the cabin in order to house all those features within it right now. I do have some pictures. This is that lot, 50 by 150. They do own this back lot area as well. As you notice, they're under the same parcel number, which isn't it's pretty common on that area of Maple Lake. This is that shed. And these are the features within it. Your water heater, your softener. There's a pump actually to my left here. And so that all feeds the cabin on the site, which is this structure right here. The cabin appears conforming. It's just this shed is probably about 4 to 5 feet off the property lot line. New septic tank location, like I said, approved variance to place that right here. Really, their well is sitting here, the well is sitting right up in here, and that is driving us to either put the septic here. The tank needs to be somewhere, or they would have to have got a variance to place it out in front of the cabin, which isn't ideal with pumping or anything. So it was approved by our Board of Adjustment to put the tank here. That would be the tie-in for them to tie this structure into that particular tank, one tank. So we didn't receive any comments on this request. We still are waiting. Our staff did meet with a septic designer, but we're still waiting on a septic design for that septic system location. Staff and Planning Commission recommended approval since those features were existing in that structure. We do have it that we do want the system to be up to Minnesota Chapter 70-80 septic codes. And so upgrading that is a must. We believe it to be just some barrels in the ground right now and probably got a stub out on the end. So it's not a compliant septic system. We know that. With these following conditions, no guest house uses. Applicants should have furnished evidence of recording that document with our recorder's office. No future development that would exceed 25%. They're sitting roughly about 9% impervious. Conditional use shall become void 1 year after it was granted unless used. And a septic design and holding tank servicing contract filed with our office before we permit that. I will waive from reading the other bid in with the neighborhood standards unless somebody wants me to.
Did they, so we were just putting a holding tank.
Correct. Yeah, the existing well location right here really prohibits any type of secondary treatment. It is a recreational cabin. It is not a full-time residence. It gets shut down in the winter. It is the definition of a recreational place. We're basically just spring to fall use out there. Gets shut down in the winter. They could explore doing that. That would be quite the directional bore line with some testing and
All the way up
pressure
to the
testing.
next.
You could go to the back lot with it. But at this time, they just want to see how frequently they're pumping the septic tank and doing that. It's going to be quite the expense, doing it 200 feet in the ground and getting it popped up back in the back lot area is quite the investment. But
200 feet in the ground.
If they were
that
to
would be a
pump it.
directional bore line. The well location, it's located by the road, so doing anything up here is out of the question. There's no permit you could pull with the Department of Health. You would have to either relocate your well on the back and drive that line in, and then maybe this area. I don't even think there's enough room to do a system here, to be honest with you. But the other option would be to directional bore this, hug the other side, come up, and do some type of septic system back here.
It'd be quite a pumping
Which
job.
isn't impossible, but pretty unpractical for a recreational place that's open 4 months out of the year. So.
Okay.
So in front of you, I have a resolution for approval with those conditions.
I will move again.
Okay, Paul,
Second.
you're getting slow here. Seconded by Warren. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
My next action item is another conditional use permit. This conditional use permit is for David Hirschberger. He's looking at obtaining a conditional use permit to do a woodworking and furniture fabricating business located on a parcel in our agricultural zoning district. Really the ordinance standard that follows suit. We have several ordinance standards that talk about accessory structures and home occupations. But section 12.3048, home business and an accessory structure. And really the proposed home-based business will be in a structure that's over 1,800 square feet maximum floor area, thus going through our conditional use process. And with these standards and keeping it in mind. The business is located on the homestead of the property. There is a home on this property. All business activity conducted within that accessory structure. No more than 2 employees other than the members of the household residing on the property. No sandblasting, chemical paint spraying, or other associated with the business. There was a little discussion staining, using residential products is totally fine. We're talking about doing full scale, hey, I'm stripping down rail cars and doing things, and I have waste and I have things that really aren't residential in nature. That's really what that standard is keening in on. All signs must comply with section 12 of the zoning ordinance, excessive noise, glares, odors, traffic, and other nuisances. We may revoke or modify our terms. County may limit the daily hours of operation, any solid or liquid waste dispose of according to, they are planning on having a dumpster on the site. And then The applicant or property owner shall permit the county to inspect the property at any time. So this request involves, there is an existing shop, it's 1,920 square feet in size. Applicant's looking at doing a 628 square foot addition. That would bring that total accessory structure to 2,548 square feet. This parcel is located in Sletton Township. It is section 8. It's in the agricultural zoning district, parcel 65.00040.03. This structure was permitted by our office in 2021 to the former landowner as a shop. Applicant's looking at, he's got a purchase agreement in place with the former owner. He did state that he would not be doing any outdoor display of goods, mostly just fabricating furniture for people as needed inside the building. Operational plan, he doesn't have any specific hours, no other employees other than him and his family. Access is provided off County 8. There's adequate parking within the area there. So land uses around this, there's farmland, residential homes. There is a sawmill located that we permitted, I believe, in 2019, 1/8 of a mile north of the proposed business. And the applicant would control machinery, noises and things because they're all planned to be inside. Comments we received on the matter. Rich Sanders commented that he has no issues with the proposed request. Richard Moen is the neighboring landowner to the north. He was present at our public hearing. He read a short statement to our planning commission. He mentioned that at the present time, the content that he didn't pay attention to the notice mailing, he was made aware of it. I wanted to come to the public hearing, see what the request was. He kind of explained that the surrounding his property, you notice there's several commercial uses, probably via that sawmill just across the street from him. He feels that he's living in the middle of an industrial park. He believes he has affected his property values as well as created issues with his property lot lines. I did ask him to clarify some of those comments about the lot line issues, and it sounded like it was cattle or something from the prior landowner. Maybe getting into cropland. I'm not sure. He owns a tract there, but I don't know if he's a farmer in the area, old farmer in the area. He is an older gentleman, but he had made a mention that horses occasionally will come onto his property. Sounds like the former landowner and him had a little bit of issues with lot lines. And then his comment was he wants the area to remain agricultural in nature. Just looking at the site, it's the application that's submitted to our office. This is the actual property here. There is a neighboring residence to the south. This is Mr. Moen's place, and this is that sawmill sitting on the corner of 8 and the township road here. We did have some things we had to work through with that sawmill regarding lumber nearing our right-of-ways and things like that. But existence of that hasn't been totally smooth, I guess. And we have got everything under control there. I don't even know if that sawmill is operational.
That's what I was going to question, because there has not been any logs piled out there for quite a while.
Yep. And so we feel that they've done some other things. Then they're using the site in a different manner than the sawmill, which we'll reach out to them. I mean, if they're not using their active conditional use, then that's the thing we'll do. Is if they're not using it, then I'll bring it in front of the board and revoke it. Mm-hmm. So that's a different matter altogether than this, though. So it sounds like his issues are with kind of more existing decisions, not this particular one. So traffic into the site sounds like very minimal. Picking up your furniture that you ordered from Mr. Hirschberger. So planning commission and staff recommended approval with the following conditions. Operations shall remain in the scope of the original plan of operations. Any deviation would trigger a new conditional use permit. Any outside marketing of the furniture will be strictly prohibited along the roadway because that's conditional use permit in our commercial zoning district, not in our agricultural district. He has no plans of doing any of that. So sign standards. So he could have a sign, but it cannot exceed 32 square feet in size, located maximum 10 feet in height, and then located on the site outside of our right of way, which is 80 feet from the center line of County Highway 8. He doesn't have a plan to have a sign, but I put it in there anyway. You want a sign in the future? Here's the standards you got to meet. Conditional use permit shall be void 1 year after it was granted unless used. And then we do have some safeguards for Mr. Moen. I did want to just clarify, we do have standards we put in all conditional use permits that it will not be injurious to the use of enjoyment of his property. For those already permitted, if you're having issues, contact our office. We'll work through those issues and make sure that they're doing what they need to do. So, and that is those standards 5 through 10. What we aim to do there is control business and activities so they aren't nuisances and off-street parking, all those things that are important. So I have a resolution in front of the board for approval of that with those following conditions.
Okay, so looking for a motion for the approval of the CUP. Warren?
I will.
Second.
Warren and Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, next action item I have in front of the board is a rezoning request. Get to it here. Geez, I put a lot of stuff in there for you. Look over. I'm a good writer, aren't I? Okay.
I've seen this stuff how many times?
Yeah, me too. Me too. I was just thinking about that today. Takes a lot of brain power. Okay. So, requests that we have in hand. We have a rezoning request. Applicant's Cody Parr, rezone a property from the agricultural zoning district to the commercial zoning district for use of a cannabis growing facility micro business on a 5-acre portion of that parcel 32.00181.00, located section 34 of Grove Park Township. Some zoning ordinance requirements, I'm not going to read these verbatim, but section 15 is our commercial zoning ordinance standards. The 5-acre tract would meet all those standards in the zoning ordinance. Section 10 is talking about process of changing district boundaries within the county. One thing to note on this is standard 10.2336, compatibility with our comprehensive plan, and a statement from the applicant of the needs for warranting those changes in zoning. And then legal descriptions, all those types of things that would be required to process that application. Polk County Section 26 is the county's cannabis ordinance. If you recall, we formulated those ordinance restrictions, regulations, and finalized those March of 2025. And it allows micro and mesio businesses for cannabis use only as conditional uses, only in our commercial and industrial zoning districts. Purpose of the cannabis ordinance is to implement the provisions of Minnesota Statutes Chapter 342, which authorizes Polk County to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of county residents by regulating cannabis business within the legal boundaries of the county. That'd be outside any incorporated city. Polk County Comprehensive Plan, it was developed in 1997, so there's no direct tie-in for cannabis businesses, but the comprehensive plan cites major goals for economic considerations, social well-being considerations, and environmental and conservation goals. Economic goals focus on a continued effort to expand and diversify job opportunities to improve income. Major social goals include maintaining strong sense of community, increased utilization of elderly through their experience, and improvement of residents' understanding of county programs, and developing county programs that improve community engagement in local processes. Major environmental and conservation goals include maintaining groundwater resources, and active management of principal lake resources of Polk County are important because lakes are the principal source of recreational and residential development and tourism. So pertinent facts about this request: applicants proposing to rezone a 5-acre portion of property, and that parcel existing right now is 32.00181.00. It would create parcel 32.181.01 with a 5-acre tract, and he is proposing to operate a cannabis micro business for growing cannabis. The current classification of the property is agricultural district, and he is looking at rezoning it to the commercial zoning district. Again, micro businesses are licensed by the state of Minnesota, but we're required to follow all local ordinances. They can have different endorsements that involve them to retail out of a facility. Other endorsements include cultivation, extraction, and concentration, production of customer products, retailing, which they must seek a retailing registration locally through Polk County, on-site consumption, edible cannabinoid product handler licensing, and or medical cannabis. So the applicant had received pre-approval for micro business cannabis facility pending local approval of an allowed site use via local permitting. Per Polk County zoning ordinance, again, micro businesses are only allowed in our commercial and industrial zoning districts through a conditional use permit. Applicants proposing to construct a 60 by 130 building to operate the business. You plan to have air ventilation system to eliminate odors from neighboring properties, gated entry, fenced in areas surrounding the proposed building, security, cameras, lighting. The waste from the operation would be hauled to Polk County Landfill Organics Complex, just east of Crookston along US Highway 2 to control odors and waste volumes. And we have a permit to do that now, so that's great. Now we can take in all kinds of yard waste and compost and sell it. To date, we have not received a septic design. MPCA has put out some guidance documents about septic system guidance. It touches on all water that touches plants. They must be treated and collected in holding tanks and removed from the site. They're not allowed to be discharged on a site. That particular water from watering cannabis plants basically has cannabinoids, THC, fertilizer inputs, solvents. Their guidance is to take it off site through a wastewater treatment process. So the applicant wanted to incorporate a reverse osmosis system to try to treat the water and then retreat the water from a well. Basically a containment on site to meet water demands. I did have a little note here. I did want to go over estimated wastewater volumes, anticipated water usage, and that stuff. I was able to tour the Monoman facility, their grow facility, October 8th. That was via the Zoning Administrator Conference, the fall conference in Monoman this year. So I do have a document I'll go over here later. Access to the site would be off County Highway 12, would be spaced according to Polk County Highway Department's preference. Trucks would have adequate turnaround, etc. Freight for entering and leaving the site. Mentor city limits is approximately a half mile to the north of this proposed request. Other uses within a half mile of the request, there are several campgrounds located around the site, storage buildings via the plan unit development north of the Oak Cove Marina, Oak Cove Marina Mobile Home Park, the Maple Lake Pavilion. There's residential housing mixed throughout the immediate area, and then more densely populated as you get around Maple Lake. Comments we received. I guess I'll just do a brief. The comments that we received from people around this land use that got noticed. They had a lot of concerns with community impact, lake community impacts, future development in the area, odor issues, how those would be minimized in this recreational area, how far would that odor travel. There was a lot of things considered. We had 6 letters submitted to our office. There were several people at the public hearing. All those letters compiled, everything was read at the public hearing for this. We did the first public hearing September 26th. We tabled the matter, wanted more information from the applicant, and then on October 24th, we had the second public hearing regarding this. There was a petition that was presented at the first public hearing. That petition included 92 people that seemed to either live or recreate in the area. They were against the zoning approval. There was, or the rezoning application. There wasn't, we got another 19 some odd people that were totaling, 111 people that signed a petition that either live or recreate in the area around this particular request. Connie Parr, who is the applicant's, she's actually the legal landowner. She submitted a letter explaining that, in her opinion, Cody would handle everything professionally, be done in a good manner, and that it would be a good way to get the county's feet wet in these types of businesses and pave the other way for other such businesses. Going over some site pictures. This is the application submitted. There's some other documentation. This is that proposed track here. 5 acres of property. The applicant does own the property to the south. There's residents on the property and an outbuilding. Connie Parr lives just north of where this facility would be, where it was proposed. This is County Highway 12. Zoomed out portion of this, you can see that planned unit storage area that was permitted in 2014 and another one in 2018, I believe. There's campground right east of it. There's a campground right southwest of it. Oak Cove is located right here with all these address points. This is the Oak Cove Mobile Home Park, Oak Cove Marina, and then on the corner here, the Maple Lake Pavilion. So the Mentor city limits is just north here, half mile north here. Of course, Mentor city limits, if you've ever seen a map of where their city limits, most of that's field until you get another half mile to 3/4 of a mile north, and then actually Mentor city after you cross the railroad tracks there. So this would be the legal description that was proposed. This is a brief narrative of the proposed request. Really nothing I haven't already went over in the pertinent facts other than the building square footage did change. Talks about the harvesting, that they would not be doing retailing on the site. They really want to grow medical cannabis and wholesale to other dispensaries, other avenues to get rid of it. This is the proposed rezone area in red here. This is that existing tract of land. He's citing there is a proposed, we have tabled a proposed campground north of Connie Parr's. There's a campground east again, these buildings, another campground. Some other than residential uses, I guess, is the easiest way to sum it up. This is that area, new site sketch we got before the October meeting. That would be the fenced-in area, the building location, access would be provided off 12 here, 60 by 130 pole building, house all that stuff. Here is the zoning district map currently for this area. You got Mentor city limits. Like I said, the city doesn't start here for about another 3/4 of a mile. This is where that request is proposed. There's the labels of all the others. It's all agricultural zoning district north of Maple Lake. This highlighted area here is actually our shoreland zoning district, which is an overlay district over the zoning. And right around these particulars, 1,000 feet from any protected water body creates that shoreland zoning district. Pictures of the site, I'm looking south along County Highway 12 there. They did plant some stands of trees here, probably about 8 to 10 years ago. This would be where that property lot line is just about right here, and that tract would extend that area. Just another shot from across the road. Property lot line is basically on the north side of those trees to Mr. Parr's residence. Okay, a few notes I just wanted to sum up. I did visit the Monoman. It's a little bit bigger than a micro business. Their facility there, their building's approximately 80 by 200. I was in the building for about an hour and a half. They were actually harvesting that day, so there was employees all over the premises. A lot of employees. I would have ballparked probably 50 employees on site. During Wednesdays, I guess, is their harvesting day. Outside the building, there was a noticeable smell, kind of a more of a piney, a sappy, they also have a filtration system there, HVAC system, really to try to reduce some of those odors with operation like that. I was in the building for over probably an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. We were looking at different things. They do grade their products and do those things. They have multiple avenues. They don't do any retailing at this site. What I'm aware, this is the only facility that really we can look at right now that's operational. They got a jump start on this market, being it's a tribal community there. And so there is a community college located probably about 3 blocks east of that facility. I'll kind of go over the facility here. This is kind of this is the picture of it. These are the HVAC systems, very large units, run through carbon filtration is basically how they operate, try to trap smells. It's entirely fenced. It's barbed wire on the top, gated entry, restricted access. I mean, you can call them, you won't get in. You have to set up something kind of with a group or be in law enforcement or something. I know Sheriff Tadman and Chief Deputy are looking at doing a tour as well, and they actually have got the okay. They're just kind of setting up a date. This is located in the industrial zoning district of Mahnomen, city of Mahnomen. There are some kind of it must be a farm business next to it, and then the community college, Head Start. There's some residential housing to the north. I'd ballpark probably about 8 homes that I'm not sure where the line is, if the industrial park extends here, or that's what I would assume. This is US Highway 59 here. I would assume this is the industrial district extended out, and then all the way to this field, and then probably within the rail system as well. So, what else did I want to go over? If you do have the privilege of going to that facility, do not wear your good scrubs when you go. I was wearing a sweatshirt that smelled for about 3 days and 3 loads of laundry, and it was quite the drive home. I kept thinking, if I get pulled over, I got some explaining to do. And so I had my agenda with me, thank God, and I said, hey, I was a part of this is my work. So that would have been quite the conversation. I did not get pulled over. That's a good thing. So don't really have anything else other than the recommendation, I guess. And I'll go over that, and then I don't know if you want to open it up. There are a couple people that came for this. So Planning Commission and staff recommendation on the matter. I did already go over the Polk County Comprehensive Plan and our major goals in that plan. I guess the biggest highlight of this was that getting community engagement in our process, getting people to weigh in, that really helps us to make decisions, guide our decisions. Active management of our principal lake resources of Polk County. That's important. Lakes are our principal source of recreational, residential development, and tourism. When staff, the Planning Commission, and the Board of Commissioners held public hearings about our ordinance development regulating cannabis businesses in Polk County, there were a few themes that were presented and aimed to push the importance of locating these types of businesses in commercial and industrial districts, which would typically be closer to cities and located around businesses that have similar truck traffic volumes, like manufacturing, product production, and potential noise odor production by equipment involved with odor reducing efforts. Another important aspect would be the thought that being located near larger cities would provide increased access to fire and police protection, as well as not having these businesses spotted all over the county. This is obviously a yin and yang theory due to the argument that rural areas have the potential to cause less nuisances than near larger cities, but that is why there's a process in place for rezoning properties through our zoning ordinance regulations. The county proposes to notify landowners around the area of the proposed rezoning and land uses the existing land uses are an important aspect of our permitting processes. Landowners' opinions on certain proposed land uses aids the Planning Commission and Board of Commissioners a sense of how a proposed use has the potential to have effects on existing land uses. Although the applicant states that campgrounds, marinas, and storage units are commercial in nature, they are in fact allowed in the agricultural zoning districts via conditional use permits, unlike cannabis microbusinesses. The goal when developing the Polk County Section 26 cannabis regulations was to ensure that Polk County would protect the public health, safety, and welfare of county residents by regulating cannabis business within the legal boundaries of the county. Staff feels that the proposed rezone and proposed use of the site has the potential to negatively affect the area for the existing uses already established in the area and to diminish the use and enjoyment of these properties, which is apparent with the concerns the public has about this proposed request. For these reasons, to protect public welfare, maintain a strong lake resource around this important recreational area, staff recommends and Planning Commission recommended denial of the rezoning request. If the Board of Commissioners disagrees with staff, I have some questions, and then I have basically a condition for the rezone that it would be legally split from that other parcel. Questions?
No questions, comments?
You were at the meeting, Joan.
Yes, I was. Yeah. I guess you two ladies that are here, if there's anything else that you want to add that has not been covered in what Jake proposed, I'll give you a couple minutes. Otherwise, if everything has been covered.
I just got one thing. First off, I want to thank you for honoring my Foley today. I really appreciate that. And second, I guess prior to the resolution, I just asked the board to take into consideration the health concerns and the welfare of all the individuals that live out there or vacation out there. It's something new and we don't know a whole lot about it with inhaling the smell, like with gas or fumes or chemicals. So that's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Linda Hansen.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, then looking for a motion to either follow staff recommendations to deny or
That I will move.
okay.
I will second.
Paul and Warren. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's a lot of work, thanks.
Okay, since the Board of Commissioners recommended denial of the rezoning request and the only allowed use is via conditional use in our commercial and industrial zoning districts, then I guess I'm seeking a motion to also deny the conditional use permit request from Mr. Well, I guess I do want to go over this. There is the applicant for this conditional use permit was KPB Cultivation LLC. So I have in front of the board a resolution to deny the conditional use request. CPB Cultivation LLC. The applicant I was working with was Cody Parr. There are 3 partners and they wish to operate a micro business. So that resolution is denied on the basis that it is only allowed in the commercial and industrial zoning district. So I'm not gonna go over the entirety of the presentation. Is that okay? It's very repetitive. There aren't a lot of things other than the specifics of the odor reducing, the reverse osmosis, really the specifics of how he would obtain meeting the standards of the zoning ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
So be it's not a allowed use in our ag district. I do need action on this, or it's just it's a conditional use application still.
Yep.
So,
I so move.
Okay, Paul,
Aye.
Second.
seconded by Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor of the denial of the CUP, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
okay, that is all I have, other than, can I get your signature on this
Mhm.
final plat so I can give that to the applicant?
Yep. Where's our ordinance books?
I do have them. That is my lovely black and gold shiny bag in the back. I will distribute those two before I leave. I gotta get my pile out of here. Thank you.
We just take a little break.
Yeah, it won't
Okay, we are back.
Okay, got a couple things here. First, as we had a couple years ago, Garden Valley Technologies is offering a discounted capital credit buyout offer. 50% of, I'm not sure how to characterize it, but it's a co-op or is a long-term user of Garden Valley services. We've got some credit available to us. They've notified us, it's usually by phone line, department line, adds up a 50% discount to almost $189,000. This is a little bit less than 2 years ago, so I'm not sure if I'm missing something. In fact, the paperwork doesn't match up exactly with what we had in 2023. But when I brought this to the board, then the board said, "Go after it, see what you can do." They had set it up at that point as a first come, first serve online, which was a bit of a difficult thing, and we didn't end up getting anything. There was a limit of, I think, $3 million that they're looking at buying out.
Yep.
So you can see we're probably going to be relatively large, at least for some of the departments. Just step back a moment on this, and it kind of came back to me after going through this again, as perhaps why we did this 2 years ago. We don't really use Garden Valley as much as we used to. We switched our phone system to voice over IP, so we have this value. But the folks, taxpayers that paid into that, this starts receding over time, and it would seem to me prudent to at least try to get the value, even at a discount, rather than hold it for future. Pretty soon the taxpayers that paid for this aren't going to be taxpayers that receive the benefit if we have the buyout. But that's maybe a little bit more of a different type of question than whether the board wants to do this or not. The portal open today, but this is no longer first come, first serve. It's get your application in, and then they will select somehow. But I wouldn't do this without the board's approval, so we have it before you today to give me some direction. It's a recommendation. I think you ought to.
I think so.
I'm not sure. I really didn't spend a lot of time diving into this as much as maybe last time as to where this value is, what it means over time. There's still 50% of it there.
Mhm.
So, and there's certainly no assurance of getting anything. So it just seemed to me, and maybe it's because I'm doing the budget, I'm looking for revenue as well, but I think if it's made available to us, that perhaps.
I think we should go for it, just like we did. We voted for it in positive last time. I think it was a pretty good program with people who did receive it last time. It was a great response, and you still have your other half, your 50%. That still continues to build. It isn't a complete buyout of that amount.
The other time was.
The other time was.
I'd have to review as you can see, these get kind of heavy reading. A lot of them are the same, but there are differences.
And this is what they sent you, your numbers?
Yeah, so tried to tally them all up.
Sure.
They're just a little bit different than last time, but I really haven't had the time to dive deeper into it.
Yeah, if you are
Selected
chosen, you forfeit
the rest.
Yep.
I'm not sure how we get it anyway. If it's a discount on other service we have with them.
Yeah, it was in that last paragraph there. Where members will forfeit the remaining.
Yeah.
50%. Okay.
I mean, that's, that's the part I don't like is that, then you're giving up 50%. So then, well, what's,
If you need a recommendation, I'll say I recommend you do it, but it's a lot less work for me if you decide not to. So
We discussed it in detail last time and we agreed that it was a good deal. We thought it was going to be beneficial. Especially since we're not using them as much as we.
well, yeah, nothing against them, but the way we're positioned across the county, it almost required us to look at something different, and we did. So we changed a decade ago.
What's the wording on the resolution?
There's no resolution,
Or
it's
is
just a motion to.
Or a motion, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. You can see that just compiling it.
Okay.
Approve accepting all offers to Polk County departments for the Garden Valley Technologies.
I would move approval.
okay,
Second.
Gary and Paul. So all those in favor of submitting for the Garden Valley Discounted Capital Credit buyout, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, thank you. Go back up to the agenda. I really have not done anything except some mental exercises on the budget. Appreciate the fact that the board allowed me to go to my annual conference. Aside from travel hiccups and having to spend an extra night in Minneapolis.
Are you over the hour and a half now?
Yeah, it was almost kind of strange. You spend too much time in an airport. Flight got delayed. You end up missing another flight. You end up staying overnight. You come in a day late. You have get only 3 hours worth of work. But as you heard from Stacy, there's been a lot of distractions anyway. She and I simply have to sit down on a few things and go after some remaining questions on the budget. So what I have right now is no different than what you saw 2 weeks ago. But I got to get it wrapped up, and basically I'm at the point of scrounging for revenues that either I'm not seeing or not fully using. I've got requested a couple department heads to look at some refinements. Going into this, I knew that the COLA increases and the benefit increases were going to be a real push on everything. Was not anticipating what happened with the Tri-County levy, because that one just, there's nothing I can do anything about. There's no second way of going at it. The only thing I can probably say about it is perhaps we were getting a better deal than we thought in the past. But I think what we're seeing there with the new jail health care agreement suggests that that's going to be what we see going forward. Had no traction from AMC on that issue. I guess you were going to bring it up last week, but didn't get to it, and that probably suggests that most other jails are already on the same contract. So I'll come back in 2 weeks. I really want it pretty much wrapped up in 2 weeks. And I was thinking, well, I've got Veterans Day to bore into it in my office, not being a work day. I'm not sure what that'll mean with Commissioner Holy's
services, but we'll be back to you in 2 weeks, and hopefully that will be at least the questions at that point. Decisions from the board will be relatively condensed, and we should be able to wrap it up. Any questions?
I'm glad you enjoyed your, not vacation, but your work vacation.
Yeah, it was I've never been to Tampa, Florida before, and I will say that of the conferences I've gone to, I couldn't tell where in the city I actually was. I think it was downtown, but between the water and the buildings and just kind of the random layout, it was all right. I could see going back maybe as a tourist. I thought the venue was good. A lot of AI issues. I've been around a long time. I mean, I went to the first one of these I went to was in 1988 or 87, I think. And you'd go and you'd see fire trucks and ambulances and squad cars and all this. This year, everything was AI, IT type companies. And one I'm going to follow up with Levi on tomorrow. It is totally tailored towards local government. And I actually went up to them at their booth after hearing the presentation. There had been they actually introduced themselves at prior to a keynote speaker. So there's 5,300 people in the room. There's 3 individuals, and 2 of them said they met for the first time at last year's conference. So this is like that long, and here they are talking to everybody. So I went up to their booth, which was right in the front of the exhibition hall, which means big money. And I said, yeah, I'm kind of interested in this. I mean, because I've been talking with Levi about, there's so many AI platforms out there. How do you pick one? And we should have a policy that manages it for the workforce. It's very random right now. Anybody can do it, and some do. And the good side of that is you develop some internal expertise. The bad side of it is that the county is still liable for any.
You're at the mercy.
You're kind of at the mercy. So this was interesting, and I went up there, and they had a big banner on with all these counties and cities, mostly cities, but there are a lot of counties on there who they've already taken all their information, all their data, and meshed it into some sort of an AI bot thing. Well, we were on there. They just simply went to our website and took everything, and yeah, you're on here, right here. So it's
a little unnerving sometimes.
Well, it is, and particularly when they tell you in some of the presentations I sat through with the downsides, and you see it on the news all the time. What some of these do that maybe are not intended. But we've got data management issues and privacy issues, and all the things that go in with government data. So I think my discussion with him will be we need to follow up and see whether this is something that we should pursue. Certainly seem to have the envelope that a local unit of government would want as far as managing access to an AI type of environment. Months ago, Levi had drafted up a policy for us, and as Tim knows, because we need to codify our policies. They're just kind of. So we've kind of collected them, and he's kind of managing some of the formatting of that. But I was hesitant to adopt a policy without a codification system, which seems quaint now. But I think we will have some other policy type things that we want to bring forward, certainly in finance, where we've just huge need, but some changes in the personnel policies, and then something like this and a few other things. Try to have them ready by first of the year. So you'll probably hear about that, but I thought of all the things I heard down there, that was the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would hear more about the government shutdown. Not so much, and maybe because it's dominated by city governments rather than counties, and nobody knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it always comes when I'd rather I don't have I'd rather have this feel like I have more time to be doing the budget, because that's always what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's also labor contracts, so it's hard to sit there and think of the work you need to do here. It's almost like you can't do both. But
Yeah.
anyway, I do appreciate it, and I think I got enough done on the budget where it'll be the finishing that has to happen, and I'm probably my anxiety is the amount of fund balance use, but that I'm always at this point about this time. So I just wish I had more today, because we only have this meeting, the next meeting, and then December 2nd is the public hearing and the budget presentation and so forth. So
yeah,
always makes November kind of a frenetic month for me, and there's a lot of distractions going on internally for Stacy and myself. So
yeah, at the district meeting, Julie kind of was talking about AI, and she said she had used it for the interview questions for the Maxa at Freeman's position, and so then I just went on my phone and I just asked a question of some interview questions, gave me this the same thing as what Julie had gotten. So now it's kind of she's like, well, if the candidates were thinking they could just ask the AI the same question and get the interview questions. So
yeah, and I think those are the easy things. I think one thing that I've been a little concerned about is my personal phone while I was there, and since I've gotten back, I have a Google phone. I am not getting a Google phone again. It is constantly turning on, and one time it's recording whatever it was hearing. I just was like, this is just getting to be weird. It's like it has a mind of its own.
They do.
They're listening all the time, because there was a documentary that I was watching, and there was a lot of Spanish speaking on it. The next thing I know, I look at my phone and here's my ads are all in Spanish. I'm like,
So I want to be progressive. I want to be open-minded, but you just have to know what this means and be careful too. So
yeah.
If I could keep the building committee after this, I have something I want to talk about with you. And I
some of our leases are coming up, and I've got one in particular that I want to just kind of quickly review, but I'm gonna have to do some editing and bring it back to the board, but I can't remember who's on the building committee. The two of you? Okay, good. It won't take long.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anything else?
That's enough.
No, it'll be a long meeting
Okay.
in 2 weeks, I can tell you
We're 10 minutes ahead of what time Chuck was supposed to be on, so we're doing good.
Yeah, you did okay.
Okay,
I
so
wandered
then
there for a
we
while.
are.